So Simmers, it's me, Mad Simmer, and in this video, guys, I'm super excited to announce that I'm recreating the iconic Brady Bunch home. You know, the sitcom that aired, through 1969 through 1974. Just randomly know that. And the show is quite dated, especially now if you, go back and watch it. You can see it's such in a certain time period, the 70s mainly, that it was in, because it was like late 60s and then into the 70s. You can see the crazy patterns and all that, as much as we like to make fun of the 70s, at least it was kind of an iconic time, okay? And you can tell when something is from the 70s. It's very, very obvious, and this house kind of screams that. However, there's a common theme that still stays true throughout so many decades and years of just watching shows like this. It's that family spirit, the lessons learned from every episode that the kids, go through childhood. It's just something that I think a lot of people find relatable. And as well, it's just a funny sitcom. It's just fun to chill and watch and mindlessly not think about anything. It's really nostalgic to a lot of people. And it's all that I just talked about that honestly made it have so many freaking spin-offs. Like, I don't know. The budget, honestly, was insane. There's a very Brady Christmas, the Brady girls get married, the Brady kids, and there's, I think, at least a few more, maybe a couple more, but there were a lot of spin-offs. The only one I've watched, and I don't remember it very well, is a Brady Christmas, just because I love Christmas so much, and I'm always looking through all the, apps, Netflix, Hulu, for Christmas shows around December and that type of time, or even in July, because I love Christmas so much. So before we really get into this build here, I do just want to talk about, the TV show. I won't talk about it for too long, but I just kind of want to go over everything, especially if it's been like a few years and you haven't seen it in a really long time, especially if you saw it when it came out, then it's been many moons. So this TV show, the sitcom here, centers around a joined family by marriage, and that's kind of the really interesting aspect of this whole thing. That's, it's the Brady Bunch. There is basically 3 girls and 3 boys, and they both joined by marriage. So that makes 6 children, and then mom and dad, and then there is a maid. So the dad is Mike Brady, RIP to the real actor, because he is gone now. I'm pretty sure almost all of them are, so let's just give like a little moment of silence here. Don't want to actually do that, but they're all in our hearts. Just a side note, so Mike is a architect. Hopefully I said that right. And fun little fact here, that's actually kind of why they picked this house, because it looked like something a architect would design, and I actually kind of see the vision for that. It's very like distinct, and you could honestly like recognize it like right away and be like, oh, that's the Brady Bunch home. And actually they did use a real house. Obviously I'm pretty positive the inside was just sets, because the floor plan was a little bit of a nightmare, but we got through it. And the roofing of this house was also scary. Like, I was honestly kind of scared to do this house in general, just because I wanted to do it justice and I wanted to try to get it as exact as I could. Obviously it is The Sims, so not everything could be correct, or but we'll go over everything that I couldn't exactly do the way I wanted, especially because this is based off a TV show. You can't always get every little room and all that. So anyways, to go back to the characters, the family of this whole TV show, back to Mike. His wife died, so he is a widower. Okay, said that right. So in that marriage with his obviously past wife, he had 3 kids. The eldest is Greg, the middle child is Peter, and the youngest child is Bobby. And they're all boys. And then there is the mother, which Mike eventually meets and they get married, named Carol Brady, soon taking on his obviously last name. And we don't know what happened to her husband. They don't really like talk about it, so we don't know. We don't know if he's dead or alive or just like an awful human being, and so she got a divorce to him. We don't know. And so she has 3 girls. The eldest child is Marcia, the middle child is Jan, and the youngest is Cindy, and she is so freaking cute. Then they also have a maid, and her name's Alice, and she's like one of my favorites out of all of them. She's like the best character in my opinion. I love her. And she was already the maid for Mike before Mike and Carol got together and joined into the Brady Bunch. So they just kind of kept her. She has her own room in the house. She's basically part of the family. They also have a dog named Tiger, which eventually you'll never see him in any of the episodes. Kind of weird, and we'll soon get to why. But that's just the bio there. And they live in a 4 beds, 2 baths house in Los Angeles in the suburbs. So right now we are in the entryway of the house. Pretty iconic. I know I'm gonna say iconic a lot, but I genuinely do mean it, because I know people toss that word around, but I would say like their entry. It's just something that really stands out, especially with the rock wall and the greenwood paneling. Also, you will eventually see in later seasons that the rock wall eventually is gone, which doesn't really make any sense. Set wise, they could obviously do that, but with the real home, that wouldn't really make any sense because it's part of the house. I decided to keep it there even though they eventually change it, just because I think it's just like, why did they get rid of it? I don't get it. That's just a little minor detail, so we'll get away from that. But there are kind of some big issues I ran into when trying to recreate the house. Greg's room and the garage are the two I want to talk about. So Greg's room in season 5, he eventually gets a groovy. That's the word they use. I've not heard that word in, oh my god, I don't even know if anyone's ever said it in my lifetime. He got a new groovy room in the attic in season 5, so that made me think, like, should I give him his own room in the recreated home in The Sims, or should I not? And so I decided to, but I also decided to keep the boy's room before he moves into the attic and has his own like man cave type of thing. I decided to keep that the same in case you just want to use, the original boy's bedroom and pretend like, he doesn't have a separate bedroom. So that was kind of one issue. Also, his bedroom is not in the attic in this house, just because it'd be so much more complicated to have to create an attic, because I was running into like so many issues already. I could not think about that, and there's just so much room in this house. Like, I find it hard to believe they couldn't fit him in, like, there's even a den in this house for Mike, okay? And so I find it hard to believe. So his bedroom is on the first floor and you'll eventually see it, but we're too early in right now. And then the garage is quite different from the original. I did though make sure to put a basketball hoop over the garage, because I know like the boys would sometimes play basketball. But yeah, everything else is drastically different. Like, if you search up a picture, you will see it's very modern and boxy and white. But in the original home, like the house that you could actually buy for like millions and millions, the garage that you see in this recreation, it is actually more similar to the house you could actually buy in real life. So if that makes any sense, that's what happened. It was more practical. However, it's all just for appearance, because there's no garage in this house. The kitchen and the den are in the way. So now to focus our attention on the build. So in the living room, you will see technology to date, if I'm correct. I wasn't around during this time period, but I did add like this boxy antennae, I don't know if that's what you call it, TV that came with the pack. Eco lifestyle, obviously, which was perfect. The BB dot show hidden objects came in useful. So the fireplace in the original is like in a half wall, so I couldn't really do that, and you see me trying, it just looked really ugly, but eventually I figured it out, and there's this like weird rock wall in back of it. I tried my best. It was definitely difficult, and I kind of just gave up my hopes on trying to put a fireplace in a half wall, because that was never gonna happen. Also, those like poles that you see near the comfy chairs, they're not actually in the original home either. I just needed to fill some space because it just would have looked weird if I didn't put anything there. And honestly, I feel like they scream the 70s. I feel like it's just something you would honestly see in the house anyways. But I do have to say the dining room is quite accurate. Like the chairs that are in the real dining room, I found chairs that are almost like exactly like it, and I'm really proud of that. The minor details, So now we're in the kitchen, and okay, so the kitchen was a bit of a headache in some areas. However, I also at the same time would say it was one of the fun things to do with the crazy orange counters and green appliances to kind of give it more of a color scheme. It's really ugly, don't get me wrong, but it's justified because during that time period, it all makes sense. You know how you say like, it's so ugly, it's cute? That's how I feel with a lot of this house. I don't get some of the choices and I'm like, why? But at the time I'm like, okay. Also, we have to remember that Mike is an architect, so he knows everything. I'm kidding. They needed to hire interior designers, seriously. No, I'm joking. Love the house, or I wouldn't be recreating it really, but I think, yeah, it's definitely all due to the time period. Orange countertops. I have to give a thank you to Island Living because those were the only counters that had orange countertops. And I was really trying not to use custom content in this house, and guys, you'd be glad to know I did not. Also, all the credentials of this house, the size, the amount will be in the description if you want to know. One thing I've also noticed when I made this house, and looking back now, is that I think I underestimated how big the room should be. The kitchen's a bit crowded, but I did get everything in there that should be in there. There are some inaccuracies just because of the size, just the shape of the room's a bit different from the original, but pretty much everything else is quite the same. However, they have like this fire oven thing, I don't know what to call it, maybe where you could cook pizzas. Honestly, it looks like one of those, like a pizza oven, where the brick wall is. I still put a brick wall in the kitchen, but there is no oven in the wall. So I just or is it a stove? I don't know. Is an oven and a stove the same thing? Oh my god, guys, I'm getting so confused right now. So, but they do have a stove like on the counter. I know, right? They're really bougie. Like, they have 2 stoves. I mean, they also have an Alice, a maid, so. But yeah, I put a stove in the island, like literally in it, but it looks fine. It doesn't look that weird, so. Also, something that I need to point out, so Alice's room goes off the kitchen where that like door is that's leading out to the outside, where that porch area is that I made. And so that's really not supposed to be there, like that porch area that I made, a little indent that goes in. That's not supposed to be there. So Alice's room is actually like on the way opposite side of the house where Greg's room is. Yeah, her room and the laundry room are they're still together like in the original, but they're not off the kitchen, unfortunately. Oh, and really quick, back to the dining room. There is obviously like a screen door in front of the dining room, so I know like there's 2 conflicting pictures, and you guys can comment down below. But in one picture, the dining room did have like a view to the backyard where the screen door was, and then there's another picture where it isn't. Maybe they're the same pictures, just shot differently, but I didn't know if I should do the screen door thing or not, but I felt like I should, so I did put one in. And it's not where I put the screen door, it's not really supposed to be there, where that like indent thing is. It doesn't make much sense, but at least it's accurate, so when I take a picture of the dining room, it's gonna look like the real dining room. Yeah, really happy with this kitchen. I feel like it's kind of like that modern they were trying to go for, even though now when you look at it, it's like this is nothing like the modern we have now. It's just kind of a little bit ugly with the colors, at least, but it's also just so, I want to say iconic, but I won't say it. I don't want to overuse the word, but I did try to make it very like family lives here. There's a basketball, there is just a lot of clutter, intentional clutter, clutter that I saw in the picture that I wanted to put in the kitchen. Also, there will be screenshots in the end, so I'll add the real images and then obviously the screenshots of this house here, this recreation, to see if I actually did a real good job at recreating this house. You guys definitely let me know down below. I obviously want to know your thoughts and like the video, of course, if you think I did a good job and enjoyed the video. Yay! So now we're in the den. This is one of my favorite rooms to recreate. I really don't know why. Maybe it's the family atmosphere in it, because this is where like the kids would hang out a lot, do homework. That's why you see like 2 black books in the room. They're little notebooks for school or whatnot, but I love the furniture in it. I love the wood paneling. It's very 70s or even 60s. I don't really know. I still feel like wood paneling's pretty popular, but I guess not like this. This is a little like crazy. I think maybe some people would use it as like an accent wall, but it's all around the room. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely one of my favorite rooms. I also want to mention there's like this bump out to it where there's like this dollhouse, and I thought maybe it's for like, Cindy, maybe she plays dolls in it, but it's not in the original home, just to let you guys know. It was just extra room that I thought could easily be part of the den. Okay, so now we are in, I guess, Mike's den. Wait, why am I calling it the den? Isn't this the den? Oh my god, that's embarrassing. Okay, so the room I was in earlier was the family room. I don't know why I kept calling it a den. Sorry about that. So yeah, this is his den, I guess, office space. This is where he does like his architectural work, if that's even a word. I put this thing from Eco Lifestyle. Eco Lifestyle helped out a lot in this build, by the way. Anyway, sorry if you don't have it, but I put like this paper folded on his desk, like architect desk. I think it's actually meant for his certain career profession, and it's like a layout, or at least it looks like it, but I think it's like a layout to a machine that came with Eco Lifestyle, but I just pretended it was a floor plan for a house. I think it's really cute and really personalized for him, at least I tried. And I know I keep talking about the rooms as we see them, and I'm gonna try to keep with that type of rhythm, but there's this bathroom, this mystery bathroom that I want to talk about that's actually really close to Alice's bedroom and the laundry that we never really see in the TV show. And so I decided, you know what, I'll just have fun with it. I made it all pink, and so you'll see that in the screenshots, but you will not see that in the speed build. I usually don't like to keep bathrooms in anyways, just because of a timing thing. But right now we are in Alice's room. There wasn't many images to go off of for her room, but in one image it seemed like she had a tea nook. I don't really know what to call it, but she had like counter space in her bedroom, and so I kind of went with it assuming that like, yeah, maybe they let her have more of a kitchen area in her bedroom because she lives with them, with this big family, and maybe they wanted to give her like more privacy and stuff. And then the laundry room, which I have to talk about real quick because it doesn't last very long, so I made it pink like the original, added the green washer and dryer. Pretty much everything's accurate, but I would say like the counter was definitely hard and the shape of the room isn't exact, but other than that I think it's pretty exact. You'll see there's also a door in the laundry room, and I found that in the original image. I just don't know where it goes out to, but I still put it in though just for accuracy reasons. But now we are in Greg's room, so this is supposed to be in the attic. That's why, because I still wanted to make it look like his bedroom's in the attic, but obviously it's not. I'm also sure you're probably just staring at his carpeting. Yes, I intentionally meant to do his carpeting like that. In the picture I was referencing his room from, the carpeting looked like that. So also though, I did use images that were like recreations themselves, so I'm hoping that's how it looked, but it was kind of confusing because I'd go on Google and I would see recreations of the bedrooms, but I thought, hey, they're probably still accurate enough. And there wasn't a lot of good images to use for Greg's room, his attic room, because it was like in season 5 and, you know, it was a later date, so there wasn't as much to go off of. I think I did a good job. I don't know. I don't even know if he has a closet. I just decided to add one to fill space. That's something I really had to do with this part of the house where Greg's room is and Alice's bedroom. I really had to fill space there because the hallway was like so freaking big. I was like, I have to do something. So putting that closet there definitely filled some space and made it look less big and awkward and just so open, even though their house is already so open. So I know right now we are in the parents' bedroom, Carol and Mike's bedroom, but I do want to give you guys like a fun fact here about the family dog Tiger. I said I was going to talk about this, and so here I am. Sorry if you've been waiting to hear this. Here it is now. So I got this off of a website that I can link down below. I forget what it's called, but I've been talking so long I'm just forgetting everything. So the family dog Tiger was killed by a car in season 1 of the show. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but it's just, I find that crazy. I'm sorry. Before the filming of episode 5 was completed, a replacement dog proved to be unworkable. Tiger's doghouse remained on the set though, because one of the studio lights fell and burned a hole through the AstroTurf, and the doghouse was used to hide the burned spot. So there you go. It's tragic and sad. I really like Tiger. Wish we saw more of him or her. I think it was a him though. Anyways though, I'm in obviously Mike and Carol's bedroom. It's pretty, I'm gonna say iconic. So I had, you know how like their bed has this like weird screening in back and then it has like these leaves? That was kind of challenging to do in the sense I didn't know how to create that. So I just used like these university divider things and then put the Eco Lifestyle leave decor that goes on the wall and sized it down, and it just worked. And I was like, actually that kind of looks like it. So I hope that you guys can appreciate the creativity there. Once again with the crazy carpeting, yes, this is what it looked like in the boys' bedroom, except it was a bit more of smaller checkers, but I just thought this was the best I could do. Also in the boys' room, OBS did something weird, my recording software, but I'm still gonna talk about it throughout the girls' bedroom because I need to give them a fair shot as well. So I had to do a bunk bed, and also they have a lot of weird clown pictures in their bedroom. So in respect to that, I put a big clown picture in the room. It's just one because there weren't many, but still. Also, I tried to keep with the nautical, outdoorsy type of theme, and don't worry, like I said, there'll be screenshots in the end so you guys can actually see the bedroom. I still kept Greg's bed in there. There's a desk like in the original. Also, I just have to say real quick, the upstairs was really difficult because there wasn't a lot of room to work with. Because of the slanted roof, it really caused it to be quite small up there. So Carol and Mike did not get a bathroom, like a master suite, unfortunately, and they do have one in the original. All right, so I gotta get to the girls' bedroom here. So you'll eventually see me change the walling to more floral. Their walling actually is floral. It's just really hard to notice, at least in the pictures. Also, you'll notice that the walling is pink, but in the 5th season, it was yellow. So I decided to go with the original girls' bedroom that was pink instead of yellow, even though I really did like the yellow. And I think a lot of people recognize the pink more. The girls' bedroom shape is really different from the original, unfortunately. So that's probably what you'll notice most about it. That's really not accurate, but everything else is pretty accurate, or at least I tried. The room was actually not easy, and it's probably my least favorite because I was kind of tired when making it, and we're getting close to the end, so I just get more and more tired. But I did hit a second win, I felt, when I did the backyard. Like, I really tried for some reason, and I don't know where the strength came from. Also, gotta mention the Jack and Jill bathroom that you guys don't see, that the boys and girls obviously share. I think there was even one episode dedicated to the bathroom where they were fighting over it and who gets to spend more time in it, or who was taking too much time in the bathroom that they share. So there weren't many pictures of that bathroom, so I had to kind of get creative, but there is a yellow bathtub that you guys will see in the screenshots, and it's really cute, I think. So it's like a blue and yellow themed bathroom. You do see a little bit in the TV show, but you want to hear a fun fact about toilets in the 70s in TV shows? So they weren't allowed to show toilets on TV at that time, so you'll never see one in the kids' Jack and Jill bathroom. They also never showed a master bathroom for Mike and Carol, but I always imagined it was behind that screen. So the screen that's, yeah, behind their bed that I was talking about. And in their room, they don't, in the one I made, they don't have that much room anyways, so that's good. I also had to do a bit of reconstruction, puzzle fitting, if you will, in the back of the house. So they have like these wings in the back where these screen doors are that don't make any freaking sense. And yes, it looks weird, but I covered the right one up because it's not even a room, with like leaves in the end. I don't know if I recorded it, but I made it look less weird so you don't like see it even on the side of the house. However, the other screen door has a room that I just made randomly because I was like, hey, we have room here. So it's not in the original, but we can all pretend. You know, it's not very noticeable. It's small. There's a TV in it, and there's actually a TV in one of the reference pictures I was using. So I was like, hey, let's just put a random TV in there that doesn't have any significance, but I'm sure the original one does. I don't know. I think I definitely did the floor plan a bit wrong, but most of it's pretty correct, so that's all that matters. Also, the website, I finally remembered the name. It's called Hooked on Houses, but I will have it in the description. It's not really relevant. You guys can still find it. It's really interesting. Also, one fact I want to just say quickly that I thought was really interesting is that the pilot episode has a different house. So I don't really know why, and I didn't really search up why. It might be on the website I was referencing earlier. So in the first episode, Mike and the boys are living in this like different house because in the first episode they get married. So Carol and Mike then go to, I think, Carol's parents' house, and so we see like two different houses in the pilot episode. But then eventually, obviously, they both move into the Brady household, Brady residence. Anyway, so guys, I need to get going. I hope you enjoyed this so much. I enjoyed this so much. Honestly, enjoyed making this house. It's not something I saw coming, surprisingly, but glad to be able to do. It will be on the gallery, of course. My ID's down below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification bell to get my newest uploads, and I will see you guys all in another video. Bye, Simmers. Bye, Dad.
I